Starmer's great Brexit betrayal is fully underway. Of course, remember, he was Remainer-in-Chief. He was the man pushing, above all, for a second referendum to overturn the result. But he went to the country in July 2024 with some absolute assurances we would not be rejoining the single market, the customs union, or the European Union. Well, let's have a little think about what he's done. Already, he's scrapped the Turing programme. That was for British students to go to universities all over the world. It was great value for money. Gone. Replaced by the Erasmus scheme, which is going to cost 8 billion quid over the next 10 years. And what that means is whilst some of our students will go to Europe, actually many, many more European students will come to our country. Add to that a youth mobility scheme, where once again, many more from Europe will come here than we will go there. But just this weekend, he's proudly said that we're now following single market rules on food products, and that actually we might align more closely with the single market if it's in our national interest. Well, I don't think this man even believes in anything called the national interest. He just believes in Brussels. He believes in globalism. He believes in international law and all of those things. And what it really means, what does a line mean? What it really means is we will follow European Union rules and laws. Westminster will have no say whatsoever over any of those rules that are made that affect pretty much every business in this country. That is a full-on Brexit betrayal. And just to make it even worse, just as the country is waking up to the sheer folly and stupidity of what net zero policies have done, remember, they've put our bills up and they've deindustrialized huge areas of Britain. We now have the most expensive industrial energy prices in the world. And yet, we're signing up to the European Union's internal energy and electricity market. The Daily Telegraph described it as net zero being doubled. We will now have to follow European Union rules on net zero. It'll further damage British manufacturing. It'll make it impossible for us to have data centres, AI, crypto, all the things that we're going to need in the 21st century.
A constitutional firestorm has been ignited following claims by Nigel Farage regarding an alleged clandestine meeting in Brussels. According to Farage, Prime Minister Kier Starmer held a secret summit with EU officials that was intentionally kept from the British electorate. This revelation has caused immediate turmoil within Parliament, with Labour MPs reportedly demanding urgent clarification as concerns grow over the potential implications for British sovereignty. Farage argues that the secrecy surrounding this encounter suggests a betrayal of public trust and a hidden agenda regarding the UK's relationship with the European Union. The controversy began late Tuesday night when Farage released what he described as incriminating evidence on social media. He posted a photograph which he admitted was taken from a distance, purportedly showing Starmer arriving at the European Commission headquarters in a black Mercedes. The image allegedly captured the Prime Minister being ushered through a side entrance typically reserved for high-ranking heads of state. Farage noted that the timestamp on the photo, 3:47 p.m, placed Starmer in Brussels at a time when he was officially scheduled to be attending constituency meetings in North London, over 200 miles away. Further intensifying the scandal, Farage released what he claimed were private flight records to support his timeline. These records supposedly show a government jet departing RAF Northolt at 1:15 p.m. that same day, suggesting a coordinated effort to transport the Prime Minister to the heart of the EU without public knowledge. The speed and detail of these leaks have left the government scrambling to respond, as critics argue that such a backdoor meeting undermines the transparency promised by the current administration. As the fallout continues, the pressure for a full parliamentary inquiry is mounting.
In the 21st century. And frankly, it is an absolute sellout of British business and of British consumers with no benefit whatsoever. And it also means that there will be tariffs on goods coming in to Britain and the European Union from outside, from countries deemed to be high carbon dioxide emitters. Remember when Donald Trump put tariffs on? Everyone screamed blue murder. But now we're going to sign up to a programme where we will be tariffing other countries, trading partners that are selling goods to us. The whole thing is madness. But you know what? This Parliament, whether it's the Liberal Democrats, they want to join the customs union as well, which would mean we couldn't do our own trade deals, Labour, quite a few of the Tories. This is a Parliament wholly unrepresentative of the country. Are there frustrations with Brexit nearly 10 years on? Of course there are. And the main one is that the Conservative Party did not take us away from enough single market rules, therefore making it easier for Starmer to realign us. And the reason we voted Brexit was to get back control of our borders. And under the Boris wave, in 1 year, nearly 1 million people came in. So the Tories did not deliver on Brexit in any way at all. They never actually believed in it. And now Labour want to betray it. Well, I'll tell you something. You may think we're doing badly economically in Britain, but parts of the European Union are doing even worse. There is a whole new world out there. India, the Far East, China, so many new emerging markets around the globe. And if we sign up to single market rules, we're effectively making ourselves even more uncompetitive. I promise you, I did not spend over a quarter of a century fighting for us to get back self-control of our country, to watch Starmer give it all away.
A constitutional firestorm has been ignited following claims by Nigel Farage regarding an alleged clandestine trip to Brussels. Farage, acting with the intensity of a prosecutor, presented documents at Reform UK headquarters that he claims prove Prime Minister Kier Starmer took an unrecorded 6-hour flight to the heart of the European Union. According to these allegations, there is no official record of the trip, no press release, no diary entry, and no explanation for why a government jet reportedly departed RAF Northolt for Brussels only to return the same evening. Farage declared that this lack of transparency is not merely a breach of protocol, but a deliberate deception of both Parliament and the British public. The political response to these claims was immediate. Conservative MPs reportedly filed an urgent question in the House of Commons, while the Labour press office allegedly struggled to maintain a consistent narrative, moving through various explanations ranging from a total denial of the trip to characterising it as personal business or an emergency consultation. Insiders have described a scene of significant internal turmoil within Downing Street, as ministers reportedly faced a vacuum of information regarding the Prime Minister's actual whereabouts and the purpose of the unrecorded travel. The severity of the situation is compounded by allegations regarding the attendees of this supposed secret meeting. Farage's sources suggest that the session included high-ranking European figures such as Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and former Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier. The prospect of the British Prime Minister holding private, undisclosed talks with individuals historically viewed as opponents of British sovereignty has caused deep concern across the political spectrum. Critics argue that even for a government seeking to reset relations with the EU, such back-channel diplomacy with the architects of the original Brexit negotiations represents a significant and potentially damaging departure from standard diplomatic practice. The collapse of media defence and public trust. The current political crisis surrounding Kier Starmer has reached a point where even traditionally supportive media outlets are reportedly distancing themselves from the administration. This was most notably illustrated when The Guardian allegedly published a piece attempting to downplay the Prime Minister's controversial Brussels trip as much ado about nothing, only to delete the article hours later following a massive public backlash. Observers suggest that when such reliable allies back away, it signals a terminal decline in the government's ability to control its own narrative. The vacuum left by this media retreat is being filled by the voices of ordinary citizens, particularly veterans and working families, who view the Prime Minister's secret diplomacy with EU bureaucrats as a fundamental betrayal of British sovereignty. The voices of betrayal, veterans and working people. The sense of disillusionment is perhaps most poignantly captured by figures like James Morrison, a 72-year-old former Royal Marine. In a moving interview, Morrison expressed the heartbreak of a man who spent 3 decades defending British independence, only to watch his leader sneak off to Brussels in a manner he likens to a colonial subordinate. This sentiment is compounded by the stark economic divide currently defining the UK. While pensioners are forced to choose between heating their homes and eating, and small businesses collapse under a growing weight of regulation, the political elite are seen enjoying the luxuries of private jets and 5-star hospitality with EU commissioners. These bureaucrats, who earn salaries and expense accounts far beyond the reach of the average Briton, have become symbols of an elite class that many feel is disconnected from the realities of British life. The crisis in British waters. beyond the halls of Brussels, the crisis is manifesting in the physical territory of the UK. While Starmer was reportedly engaged in secret talks, British fishermen in hubs like Grimsby and Peterhead were staged in protest against what they describe as a total surrender of national waters. Viral footage from fishermen like David Patterson has highlighted the frustration of a community that voted for Brexit specifically to reclaim fishing grounds, only to witness European trawlers continuing to operate with what appears to be government-sanctioned impunity. Patterson's viral plea, questioning how control has been taken back while livelihoods are being siphoned away, has resonated with millions, framing the Brussels trip not just as a diplomatic reset, but as a personal blow to the working people of Britain. An unprecedented royal intervention. The situation reached an extraordinary climax during a recent meeting of the Privy Council, where King Charles III reportedly broke over 70 years of royal protocol. In a setting so formal that all modern technology is banned and every word is etched into history, the King allegedly issued a statement so significant that it has left constitutional experts in a state of intense debate. This departure from the traditional neutrality of the monarch suggests that the Crown may be stepping into its role as the final guardian of national accountability. By making a move that no modern monarch has dared, the King has signalled that the current political instability and the perceived lack of transparency from Downing Street have reached a level that threatens the very constitutional fabric of the United Kingdom.
Who we fear most at the next general election, Kier or Andy B?
A constitutional and political crisis of historic proportions has reportedly gripped the United Kingdom, as King Charles III directly challenged Prime Minister Kier Starmer's leadership. During a highly formal gathering, the King allegedly emphasised that transparency is not merely a democratic ideal, but the essential cornerstone of public trust. Witnesses described a moment of intense, uncomfortable silence as the monarch, who traditionally remains scrupulously neutral, appeared to deliver a stern, non-verbal warning to the Prime Minister. This unprecedented intervention follows reports that the palace received over 50,000 letters from citizens in just 2 days, pleading for the Crown to protect Britain from what many perceive as a secret surrender of sovereignty to the European Union. The royal family's perceived shift in stance has sent shockwaves through Westminster. Prince William also reportedly signalled his concern for national independence during a visit with veterans, a gesture seen by many as a constitutional warning shot against the government's current direction. This tension at the highest levels of the state has had a catastrophic impact on the national economy. The pound plummeted by over 2% in a single day, and billions were wiped from the market as investment firms pulled back from UK projects due to political instability. Furthermore, major business organisations have warned that this uncertainty is costing the economy billions each week in delayed contracts and cancelled investments. Internally, the Labour government is reportedly in a state of total fracture. Rumours of explosive confrontations between the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner have surfaced, while several junior ministers have already resigned in protest over a perceived lack of transparency. The scandal has intensified with the alleged leak of documents suggesting that Starmer attended secret meetings in Brussels to negotiate a phased return to EU regulatory control without parliamentary oversight. Legal experts are now openly discussing whether such backdoor agreements could constitute criminal misconduct in public office, a charge that has dominated the national news cycle. As the government struggles to maintain control, the political landscape is being radically reshaped. Recent polling indicates a dramatic collapse in Labour support, with Reform UK surging to record levels and Nigel Farage positioning his party as a government in waiting. While Farage draws massive crowds across the country, the Prime Minister faces an increasingly isolated position within his own cabinet. With a vote of no confidence looming and the public demanding accountability, the next several days are viewed as a critical turning point that will determine the future of both Kier Starmer's career and Britain's constitutional settlement.